All right, everybody. Welcome out to another episode of Windshield Time at Mountainland Supply. I'm Joey, and I'm always here with Brandon, our CEO.
Hey, everyone. Thanks
for joining us today. Today, we're going to move on to another one of our core values. We're going to talk a little bit today about commitment. I personally love this value. If this to me has a lot to do with people all rowing in the right direction or the same direction as one another and looking out for one another. If you're committed to the vision of Mountainland Supply, then there's no question as to where you need to be, how you need to be acting, that sort of thing. And I think that commitment is a lot of looking out for the person next to you so that you're all kind of doing the right things and rowing in the right direction so that we keep taking steps forward and we never regress.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
You know, this is one that going back to, how we came up with these core values. Mm-hmm. Commitment was one that I think they're all common, right? The core values were all common things that we saw in all the different people. But this was one that, it's like, okay, these people are the ones that no matter what, they're committed to, the company, they're committed to their job, they're committed to their department, they're committed to themselves, right?
Yeah.
Of this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing it for. And so I think, having that, it's a high level of commitment. It's not these people that are wish-washy, that are just a fly-by-night or, float in the wind, whatever it is. They committed, they know who they are, and they know what they stand for, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're committed to that.
Yeah.
And that's what I think for me, when I look at that, when I look at commitment, it's people that are sure of themselves in a good way, mm-hmm. not in a bad way, because there's a bad way too, right? Mm-hmm. That's a fine line.
Sure.
Really they're true Mountainland through and through.
Yeah. I think consistency is probably a synonym with it. I love when you come into, I'm always surprised and pleasantly surprised on the weekend. I mean, you come into a Mountainland branch, and especially in Orem or even like downtown Salt Lake, if you go into one of those branches on the weekend, you're going to run into somebody.
Yeah.
Like there's always somebody in there grabbing an order for a customer, opening up for a customer, making sure that they've got their ducks in a row for the next week. Like there's a fine line with that too. We don't want people to be overworked. But to see that level of commitment from the very first days that I started here, that's how it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unreal. Our Luis Morales was my boss when I first started working here in the warehouse, and he would have us come in on Saturdays just to clean up the warehouse, and it was just for 2 or 3 hours in the morning, but we'd knock a ton out because we didn't have any deliveries.
Yep.
And they were fun days. Like I remember loving those Saturdays, even though you're coming in on a Saturday,
Yeah.
And everybody just loved it. And I think that was the level of commitment.
And it's like, so before we came up with a core value, or we defined our core values, I should say, we didn't come up with them, we defined them.
Yeah.
It was kind of an unsaid rule.
Yeah.
And I remember that when I first started, that it was this level of commitment that it was unsaid. I wasn't told that I had to have it.
Right.
Nobody showed me in the handbook that, hey, you have to have this.
Yeah, check box here.
But I felt it,
yeah.
Right? And I saw it with everybody else. And coming into it, I better be at that level or higher. And if not, I'm going to get washed out.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, you see the person, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying at the first. You see the person next to you pushing as hard as they are for what they believe in.
Yeah.
You want to push the same way.
Yep.
You're like, dude, all right, I got your back. I'll help you out with that.
Yep.
You're right. It's like it's intuitive. It's not even something that you're forced to do. It's just natural within the culture of the company.
And sometimes people say that people get watched out of Mountainland or our culture.
Yeah. Chews them up and spits them out.
It's kind of true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a level of an unsaid expectation that, hey, you're committed to this, to the cause of what we're doing and why we're doing this. And it's not just for me. In reality, it is for us personally, but it's not just me, but I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you. And you know what? And I do it happily.
Yeah.
It's not begrudgingly. It's not this, I have to go do this again. Oh, for Joey. Oh, come on. No, I get to go do this.
But you're not doing it. It's not like a top-down corporation where you're going to do it or else.
No.
You're doing it because you believe in the person that's next to you. You believe that you want to help them and their families. And you don't even know that's why you're doing it.
Exactly. And a lot of the people that do get washed out, they don't get forced out.
No.
It's just they feel uncomfortable.
They want to leave.
Yep.
They just want to go. And I totally believe that that's kind of who we are. It's like we aren't going to be the answer for everybody. We really aren't. Like, this is an awesome place to work, and I love it. But we are not going to be the answer for everybody.
Nope.
Not everybody wants to be here. And that's okay.
Yeah.
They're still good people.
And they'll fit in somewhere else.
They will, and they'll be happy someplace else.
And we want them to be happy.
Yeah.
We want them to fit in somewhere else, too.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about on that one of the episodes is our culture.
Yep.
I always thought that if people don't fit into our culture, then something's wrong with them. And in reality, it's just because they don't fit in our culture, they might fit in somewhere else.
Right.
And that's perfectly fine. That's good. That doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They're still great people. We want them to be happy and find that. I was talking to an employee probably a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and he just got into a new position, super excited about it, right? And he goes on to tell me that he came in on Saturday just to get some stuff straightened out, everything like that. And he brought family members to come and help. Yeah. And I'm just like, you don't have to do that, right? And, then my concern is, do you have too much on your plate? And it's not that. It's, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
And my family wants to do this too. I'm dragging my kids in because they want to come and help. To me, that's the perfect example of commitment. And it's farther reaching than just us here as employees. It goes into our families.
Oh, dude. When your kids start seeing a Ferguson truck down the road and they flip them off, that's how you know your family's committed to this. And yes, that has happened in my house. God bless those kids.
It goes even a step further. It's just, I don't, Joe, I think your kids have this too, but my kids have some Mountainland garb. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they wear it with pride.
Yeah.
And it's so funny when they see someone out there that's wearing something else that's Mountainland.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like this connection. I had my oldest daughter. She was at high school. She goes to high school over here at Westlake High School. And she came home one day and she's like, Dad, I saw a boy wearing a Mountainland hat. I'm like, well, did you talk to him? Well, yes. And come to find out, it's a grandson of one of our employees. And
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, oh, and she's like, she's like, yeah, my dad works there. And oh, my grandpa, they have this cool little relationship totally outside of work, but it's a sense of pride, right? They're committed to. They know and understand. They feel from us as whoever works in the company, the level of commitment that we have to, and you do it you do it willingly. You want to. Yeah. And often Joey and I get talked about a lot of, it's kind of funny because we do the same. So we've been talked to a lot about getting burned out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concern because we have our schedules can be strenuous and it can be taxing, especially on the family side and the personal side. And so fortunately, we have some great people that look after us and are concerned about us getting burned out. But when you look at it, for me, it's like, I'm not getting burned out. I love what I'm doing because I'm committed to this cause. Yeah. I'm committed to this group of people and I'm going to give 110%. And sometimes it is not the best because I put other things lower down and sometimes family, takes a side seat to it or other commitments that I have. And fortunately I have a wonderful, wonderful wife that tugs on my shirt and says, hey, focus back over here.
Right.
Gotcha.
You got other commitments too.
You got other commitments, sweetheart. And I'm like, okay, good. But it's so easy to just get tied up, or not tied up, but enthralled with this.
Wrapped up
because it's a wonderful cause and we're committed to it.
And we love it.
And exactly. Yeah. So
awesome. Well, thanks for spending a little bit of windshield time with us today, and we'll see you guys down the road.
Yep. Have a good one, everyone.
See you guys.